Creative Tech Podcast. Hi, I'm Kaori Ray, product designer and author. Our mission is to help people in their career and lives by sharing their creative and technology stories. Hello guys, thank you so much for watching to our podcast. Today I'm gonna talk about the important lessons learned from Paul Auster's my favorite novel, Moon Palace. This novel is set in Manhattan and the American Southwest, and the story of Marco was a student at Columbia University. The reason why I chose this topic is, so unfortunately, a few days ago, my best author, Paul Auster, he passed away. He was just 77 years old. Of course, I was so shocked because just 1 year ago, when I was staying in Brooklyn, I so into reading his novels. Anyhow, today I'm gonna talk about the key takeaway from Moon Palace, what I learned from this novel. Let's get started. 1. Walking in the city. Anyway, Paul loved to walk around the city. Not only this novel, other characters from his old novels. Anyway, they are always walking. I learned that from his novel, Moon Palace. Marco in the novel always used to walk around Manhattan when he was sad, lonely, or poor. And during his long walks, he often finds individual hints for his life and people who can help him. Walking allows us to dive deeper into the unconscious. It's probably better than being at a desk in an office or room. I have lived in Tokyo and New York, both of which are located for working and observing. Each area has its own cafes, stores, and vibrant spots. And during a long walk, not only Marco, I also often find hints and new tips for our lives. This has been proven by a Harvard University study. So, if we have something want to like kind of meditation or deep dive into ourselves, let's go for a walk, not just staying in your office. This is the first key takeaway from Paul Auster's novel. Okay. Second, communicate your feelings to your loved ones. There are two kinds of people in the world, I would say. One is the person who can tell someone, I love you. And the other is the person who cannot tell someone, I love you. We can learn from the actions and attitude of Marco in the novel Moon Palace. When he lost his apartment near Columbia University and becomes deeply lonely, sad and depressed, and homeless in Manhattan, he is saved by his friend and cool girlfriend, Kitty. But in the end, he lost both of them. In mysterious fate, he could find his real dad. But eventually, he lost his father too. He felt regret. He wanted to get them back in his life, but it was too late. In addition to Marco's failure, we have learned from the pandemic time in 2020. Our lives are not eternal, right? Even if I am living in the safest country in the world, Tokyo is so safe. But we could die easily somehow, like by accident or by illness, right? So that I believe to tell your favorite people, I love you and thank you. Just you can tell to them right now. Not like after 1 year or 2 years, or not after you feel, oh, finally, or set up your life. No, right now, you should to tell I love you and thank you. Because we may die easily, right? Otherwise, you may not have a creative imagination. You may regret it tomorrow. So this is my second key takeaway from this novel. The third key takeaway: celebrate life's milestones with loved ones at a special place. A local Chinese restaurant near Marco's apartment in Upper West Side. It's called Moon Palace. Yes, this novel's title. As a poor student, Columbia University, Marco used to watch the neon light of the restaurant from his apartment window. But he was poor, so he couldn't go to the restaurant. And when he was at the bottom of his emotion, he was so depressed, he went to that restaurant alone and cried over the food because he hated his life. But thanks to the help of his friend and girlfriend Kitty, Marco was able to get back on his feet mentally, physically, and financially. So finally, he took his team to the restaurant Moon Palace and enjoyed the moment. I loved this part of the story. He could bring important people. He could bring his team to the more fancier restaurant in Midtown or West Village. But he wanted to go to this restaurant, Moon Palace, because this is a kind of signature of his happiness when he was so bottom of his sadness, loneliness, and depression. So what I learned from this part of the book is that you can have a goal or milestone in your life, and when you achieve it, you can go to your special place. You with your lover or you with your important friends to celebrate your accomplishment and enjoy the moment together. You can look at yourself and think about your next milestone. This is so great. Of course, many people would prefer to buy an expensive watch or handbag instead of going to a restaurant with your girlfriend or friends. But please imagine when you died, the view you imagine or the view you can remember may not be of Rolex watch or Chanel handbags. It may be remembering the moment you had a wonderful time with your team at the special restaurant, I believe. So I would like to share with you our 3 important key takeaways from Paul Auster's novel Moon Palace. But I would like to add one more things here. The key takeaway 4. A warm and long hug from his girlfriend. This is the best. When Marco recovered from his deep depression, he transformed his life. He worked hard. It was writing and translating text from French. Then, friend Kitty found him in a small park in Manhattan, I think West Village, and they had a pleasant talk. They went to his apartment. Actually, it was his friend's apartment for having coffee. As Marco concerned on making coffee in his tiny kitchen, so Kitty quietly and spontaneously hugged him from his behind. And then this conversation. Who is this? It's the dragon lady. I'm here to get you. I think I have already got you. This part made me so crying. I couldn't stop crying here because Marco had been lonely and going through a hard time for a while and made a huge effort to change his life. What I learned from this novel is that if you want to find true love or change your life for the better, focus on yourself, and then your life will stage up, and where you will meet an attractive person, lover, or new community who will appreciate your talent and personality. It means you will meet them. It's great, right? But this wonderful talented lady, Kitty, was actually someone who had supported him before. He was at the bottom of his own life and didn't realize how grateful he was for Kitty at that time. That kind of things is pretty much our real life, right? So sometimes we cannot realize we already have a so great lover or great supporter team or friends or family who admitted your talent, who encourage your personality, your effort. But we tend to forget or we are kind of blind because we are kind of at the bottom of our lives. But I would say, don't worry, you will it. Even though the old novelist Maeterlinck, who wrote The Blue Bird, said, true happiness is already next to you. Okay. Okay, so it's kind of a long, weird episode, but I wanted to appreciate Paul Auster, especially my best novel in New York, Moon Palace. It is kind of my Bible in New York life. Thank you so much, Paul Auster. Thank you so much for listening our Creative Tech podcast today. We hope our story to help your career and life. See you soon. Bye bye.